Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your June forecast for Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising, and Pisces Moon. This month I'll be looking at your major love lessons and the 3 most significant dates of the month tied to that lesson. This may be a romantic relationship or simply an important connection that has an influence over your life. So your love lessons center around the Moon card. Well, this is your card, so it could be you have a strong influence over a situation. Maybe you're tied to another Pisces. This may be a Cancer person. There's some fluctuating circumstance where you may feel some emotional ups and downs. You're in for perhaps a bit of a ride right now, emotionally speaking. Your security is at stake. And so you may feel especially protective, or you may feel very instinctual about, how to remain safe or what provides your security. For some of you, this may tie into maternal figures, your role as a mother, your connection to a mother. It may be your connection to a child, but mother-child relationships may be emphasized. Perhaps there's a focus on travel or fame or your reputation. So there's some kind of circumstance where you are going within. Maybe you're dealing with memories from the past influences, emotional issues. Maybe you're suffering from depression or anxiety. You could have financial worries that are present. And those concerns may eventually have an impact on your health. For some of you, maybe you're dealing with people who actually work in fields that are emotionally or psychologically oriented. But there is some kind of change taking place right now. And you are encouraged to really be vigilant about getting to the bottom of situations, getting to the truth, because there is an element possible in certain circumstances where there's been some deception. Whether that's been outright treachery or somebody trying to pull the wool over your eyes, or you deceiving yourself because you haven't been seeing something clearly. So now is the time to address anything that's been hidden, and what has been hidden is likely to come out. There's some secrets or something going on behind the scenes that needs to be addressed. This is a time where you have to try to maintain your emotional equilibrium by doing something that's good for you. Perhaps that's pursuing a creative interest. It may be, taking a long walk, a long bath, whatever it is that can distract you, give you some peace of mind so that you can come up with some answers to some current dilemmas that you're facing. So you may, in the interim, be feeling out of sync with others. You may feel especially irritable or stressed out. Maybe you feel like people are criticizing you, because this is a time where you can feel exceptionally vulnerable. It can also be that there is some bad news headed your way, and you almost sense that something is happening that maybe you don't have any control over, that is affecting a loved one. So you may have some digestion issues. Maybe, it hits you in your stomach when you get nervous or upset. So there are issues surrounding security, whatever that means to you, and some kind of change. Again, could be children, mother, travel, creativity, romance, something that affects your security. Now, the affirmation card is, I get prickly when my insecurities are triggered. So there's something going on probably where, again, you feel emotionally out of sync with others. Situations are driving all of your fears, your pessimism, your anxiety, your insecurities to the surface. And again, you need to maintain some kind of emotional distance from a situation in order to remain grounded. Now, your 3 significant dates are, you have bad timing, the 24th of June, and the 1st of June. So let's address this bad timing card first. This is some kind of energy that is blocked. The timing is off, so it doesn't come to pass. Maybe it's something that was in the works, or something doesn't fully evolve because of some blockage. So let's see what that is. You have the King of Wands and the Justice card. So for some of you, this ties to a fire sign person. Could be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And the Justice card may tie to a Libra person. Now, if not, this is about taking charge to make a decision. Taking charge to put something in order. Maybe somebody is turning their back on making a decision, or somebody is being unfair. There's a need to restore harmony and balance, whether that's in your responsibilities, whether that's in a relationship, or your physical health. So for some of you, maybe you're dealing with some kind of legal issue. Maybe this is settling of some old debts, whether this is emotional, financial, spiritual, karmic, whatever it is. There are issues of accountability and fairness where parties involved need to examine their conscience. So for some of you, this is a time where you're going to have to make some changes to accommodate some new circumstances. And it is better if you can roll with the punches to adapt. This means, changing your financial strategy, a time schedule in order to accommodate someone else, to please yourself, or because circumstances have forced some kind of loss that you have to accept or deal with. So, you could be in negotiations or arbitration. Maybe somebody has turned their back on that. Maybe there's a need to rise above a situation in order to be fair. This card ties to nobility. The problem with the King of Wands is that he gets enthusiastic about something, but he is very self-oriented, which doesn't really work for equal exchanges. He wants relationships and situations on his own terms. So this may be getting to the truth of something, facing some kind of truth to restore harmony and balance. For some of you, maybe this ties to a project where design is important, color, line, and form. Maybe you are redistributing wealth or assets, working out issues or terms. This may be a contract, something legally binding, some kind of long-lasting union, agreement, proposal, offer. For others of you, this may center on, daily responsibilities. Who's going to do the cooking? Who's going to do the parenting, the domestic chores, balancing, between your work life and your professional life. So there are important decisions to be made here that connect to privacy. And maybe one of you is seeking greater privacy. There's a need for discretion. Could be some backdoor negotiations or something going on behind the scenes under the table, a need to keep things quiet. For some of you, maybe it's difficult to make decisions or to negotiate because somebody is inaccessible. They're difficult to get to know. And you may have to do a lot of thinking in solitude. Maybe this is about being more private, keeping to yourself, some kind of decision. But whatever this is, the inability perhaps to make that decision, the right choice, or to deal with something is creating a wrinkle in the flow of energy. And so something is not happening. And the advice is you're going to have to face your fear. So, if there's been any hesitancy in taking charge of a matter, legal, health, otherwise, a relationship, you're going to have to face your fear in order to push things forward. Because that's what's creating this bad timing issue. Now let's deal with June the 1st. You have the Hermit card and the Page of Wands. Could be a strong Virgo influence, and again we have more fire energy. Perhaps you need to take some immediate action on some information that you've received, or maybe you need to research what action needs to be taken. This is about, again, another card of being alone, being isolated, whether by choice or by circumstance. Some of you may be biding your time, keeping others at a distance, only revealing the information that you want known. For some of you, this may have to do with the health or the education of a child you're involved with. It may be, dependent on the age of a child, the experience that a child has, or your experience. So age, wisdom, experience, health are all concerns. You may be taking this time to go within to get some answers or connecting to someone who can give you some sage advice. But this is a time of learning and listening. You may be bringing some information to light, or others may be enlightening you. Now, the Page of Wands says that there's some small changes that could make a really big difference for the better. Those could be on the horizon in a relationship, given a change in attitude or environment. So for some of you, this may be, buying a travel ticket or something. Maybe you're going to a gathering where you are the focus. Maybe you're educating others. Maybe you're teaching. Maybe you're writing. Perhaps a project is in focus. So you may be spending more time alone in order to pursue something, to achieve a goal. But for others of you, there's something going on that is this is a spiritual card. So it's on the first, you're going to be dealing with something stressful or crisis oriented that may pull you into some kind of confrontation where you're with others and you want to prove you're right, or vice versa. And of course, someone is going to end up as the loser. So there are lessons here in compromise, in humility, and learning what really constructive criticism is. And perhaps is there such a thing? The Page of Wands is about opening up your heart to something, pursuing something with passion, putting in some earnest effort. So for some of you, that's what this situation is all about. Getting some information about some new possibilities that could be exciting. But it could also be that somebody is alone and isolated because of some selfish inclination. There may be a fear about a negative situation or obsessing about negative possibilities, whether those are existent or not. So, there's a difficulty in committing to something because of the maturity level or the lack of. Perhaps there's a lack of passion or motivation, and so something is starting to stagnate. This could be some instability, or where, you can't trust a person or a situation. So for some of you, you may be looking at some small changes where things haven't turned out for the better. There's something inexplicable taking place, a shift in your relationship, and you don't know where it got off track. Positively, this is being motivated to make some changes, and it behooves you to listen more than speak. You should be in observance mode to see if people are actually doing what they say, if they live by the truth that they profess to subscribe to. So you're looking at the actions of others, and trust your inner guidance, your intuition, rather than what people are saying. You can't necessarily rely on what people are saying because you're facing some kind of instability. So the sooner you are clear-cut in your perspective, the more logical you are, the more detached and intellectual you are, you'll be able to make decisions that are right and best for you and will move things along quickly. This may have to do with feeling trapped. There's a situation that is confining or hindering you from sharing or expressing your very best self. So there could be some inner transformation taking place right now. You need to take some action on a situation where, again, maybe you've been alone or isolated or haven't gotten enough information. You want to be free, and maybe there's something that you have been bottling up inside of you. Maybe you need greater freedom, or perhaps a partner needs greater freedom, or, something needs to be released in order to grow and prosper. You may have difficulty letting something go because of the past, your memories, your ancestry, people on the other side, some maybe even past lives. You bringing something into this situation connected to a past life. Again, this is a very spiritual time for you on the 1st. You're dealing with some issues where you've been putting some things off, some things that you haven't wanted to face, maybe that have been bottled up inside, keeping you from being your best self, making the most of yourself. And this may tie to some karma from the past, some unfinished business, something you're bringing over from a past life, or perhaps you need to open up to what your spirit guides and ancestors are trying to tell you. The advice is take the risk. You've been holding yourself back. Bring something into the light. The Hermit card says, you are spiritually protected even though this is a trying time for you. Something is arriving, some opportunity that requires you take some kind of immediate action. On the 24th, you have the Lover's card and the Six of Swords. So for some of you, this is a Gemini person. This could be a partnership, beneficial changes in that partnership, or moving on from that partnership because it's been a toxic or abusive situation or environment. You will be revisiting the past, whether that's a place that you've been to before, whether you're dealing with travelers that visit you from your past, or you're revisiting a particular issue. Something is requiring your patience, your courage, and your perseverance to get to the other side of a situation. It's going to mean looking at something from the other person's perspective, coming to some kind of understanding, and perhaps rethinking your role in the choices that you make, the situations that you tend to relive that serve to disappoint you. In fact, you're encouraged to be very discriminating about the lovers, the associates, the friends, the partners, the people you choose to get involved with, whether that supports your highest self or it's a detractor. Now, one of you, you or a partner may be at a popularity peak. People may be seeking advice, assistance, but this demand on your time may be a distraction from your most important goal. So it's important for you to look at where and who you want to invest time, energy, emotion into. You're at a crossroads. There's some kind of choice to be made here, and those outcomes offer very different possibilities. So there's a critical juncture. You're also having to look at the nature of your relationships. If you've been holding something back, repressing, thinking that that's going to solve a problem or help a situation get better, by virtue of not giving up all of the goods, you're actually creating more strain and tension. And this is a time where even the best of relationships is going to feel the pinch. So you have some important choices to be made. And for some of you, you're having to look at where you've been too accommodating, where you acquiesce, give up, give in too much, or where perhaps you've been too possessive, territorial, or jealous in a situation. So there's a choice to be made. Both of these cards, this one is love, this one is courage. So there's a choice to create beneficial changes, and there's a possibility as well, but it's going to require love and courage on your part. Now, this may be connected to getting some clarity about some changes. Maybe you're going to have to face the truth about something. Maybe you've been waiting in vain to get some clarity. It could be that there's an ending that occurs, but there's some kind of transformation connected to getting some clarity in a choice about moving, leaving, whether that's physically or figuratively. And the advice card is, it just got real. So, I mean, that's total clarity. When things hit the fan and you can totally see it for what it is, things have gotten real for you by June the 24th. So, the advice, face your fear, take the risk. It just got real. Something about your circumstance, you're going to have to jump right out there and be vigilant rather than avoid. That's the message of this moon card. Now, the underlying cards for you are Seven of Wands, perspective, and guidance. Your intuition, which you're already a highly intuitive and psychic sign, build on those strengths. Use that to your advantage. Your intuition is going to be very important this month, and the ability to see things clearly, not just through a rosy filter for what you want it to be, but for what it actually is. The Hermit card says you have to be practical. You have to see yourself in terms of who you really are and who other people really are and the truth of your circumstances. This is about gaining an advantage. It could be gaining an advantage by having a clear perspective. Perhaps there's some truth that is very glaringly obvious and you can no longer ignore it. Or it could be that an advantage comes from seeing the better part of a situation in order to move forward. So something is tied to your destiny in this circumstance. And gaining an advantage means you do have to be flexible, adaptable. If you are firmly entrenched in a stance, that may work against you. Your ability to communicate effectively, to rally people to your side, to use the power of influence emotionally and psychologically is going to be important to your goals and objectives. You may find that what is really creating your unhappiness is the inability to give in, to be unyielding in a circumstance. For others of you, it's going to be very important for you to have the courage of your conviction to stand up and defend yourself. You may feel like things are coming at you, and so it may be difficult to maintain your ground or the advantage. All right, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notify bell button, and please leave me some comments on how these events turned out for you on these dates.